Good morning, church. My name is Tebogo and I am a PPS Diamond, a shining and sparkling representative of the Prophet Parent Student Program. Standing beside me is my mother. Her name is Mrs. Magimotsare. Diving into my testimony, I grew up as a very bright student with bright and sparkling academic results. This was evident in my standard 1, whereby I got 100%. I had always had 100% in all my subjects. Standard 1, standard 2, standard 3. I was the bright, the sparkling Tebogo Seratswe. Despite having this in my academic results, I had always had that one subject that was difficult for me. I was the best in the subject, yes, but a B for me wasn't my full potential. It wasn't what I wanted to achieve, especially after hearing what other PPS Diamond had. I told myself that I was going to have an A star, not only an A, but an A star. When I went to my standard 4, I told myself that since my grandmother was already a member of this church, I told myself that I was always going to come to church with her. I was going to pay attention to what other PPS Diamonds were saying, and I was going to implement what the men of God taught at the PPS meetings. Despite me not being a member of the PPS program, I told myself that it doesn't matter where I am. What matters is the results that I want to achieve. Yes, I was young, but being young doesn't mean that you wouldn't understand what other PPSs were saying. For me to be on the same podium they stood, where Tsolofelo Sibitso stood, where Bame Tekedi, Emmanuel Makura, Unalido Masoro, Isaac, and Vicky stood, it's such an opportunity that I can't even explain what I'm feeling right now. And because of that, I told myself that I was going to make history in Setswana. I told myself that Setswana isn't a subject where you have to struggle. It's just a subject where you have to up your spirit and have an aim and a goal, a dream that can drive you to that. I wanted to make history. That's basically what I wanted to do. I don't want to be a follower. I wanted to be the leader itself. So for my attainment, I had gotten a 93%, which comprised of a beautiful A star in Setswana. In standard 5, I told myself I'm going to up the level that I was. I wanted something better than a 93. I wanted A stars. I wanted 100%. I wanted 99s. I wanted to make history. I am a leader in the making, and a leader in the making always leaves footprints, leaves footsteps which others can follow in. My dream that year was that I want to be the best in the whole standard 5s. I listened to other PPSs who say that they were the best in the level. My dream wasn't only limited to being the best in my class. No, like I said, a leader. So I told myself that I was going to be the best in the standard 5s, which I eventually did, comprising of 100%. I never had an exam where I didn't get 100%. In standard 6, that was the year whereby puberty really struck me, and I was in an environment whereby a lot of people were also facing the same things that I had. The stage that I was in, the people there that were introduced to TikTok, that's whereby the era was very prominent. So they were using a lot of social media, they were cussing, they were doing this and that, but because I was already in the church, I say that I'm going to have discipline and I'm going to have character. I will not look back at my academic background and be ashamed. For there to be a blemish in my academic history, that is not something that I want. So even if they had this ill character and ill discipline, I wasn't hazed by what they did. Instead, I was pushing myself all the more. I worked until I was exhausted, and I made history in Setswana once more, whereby I was writing poems. These poems were featured in magazines. Teachers would ask me to write for them, and I nekele moki. And if you notice something in people in the 3G ministries, is that whenever they say something, they say it with confidence. So the low self-esteem that I had because of puberty, the acne, and this and that, it was slowly, deteriorating. Because when you are a poet, you have to say what you're saying with confidence. This is why I'm here right now in front of the multitudes, being able to tell you something straight to the point and meaning what I'm saying. In standard 7, I'm upping myself again. If you notice so far, what I've been saying is that at every level, ever since I came to 3G Ministries, is that every level that I'm going, I'm always telling myself I'm going to do better. So instead of telling myself that I'm going to imitate the PPS, I told myself that I'm going to also imitate the prophet. I'm going to have the character and discipline which he displays. And let me tell you, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Being a teenager, I'm sure that the teenagers who are here today, they can testify that the world of today, it doesn't require an age. You'll always have those peers in your life whereby they are of negative influence. So you being that one person who goes around saying, guys, don't do this, don't do that. Let's talk about God during lunch and break times. They'll call you names. Oh, Mam Rutiwaren. So I wasn't fazed by that because I know that I'm not the only one facing this. PPSs all around the globe, they face the same thing that I'm facing. And imagine me complaining, what about the prophet who has been in this ministries for over a decade? My mother can testify, I showed a lot of discipline. Even if I was wrong, I would say sorry because I didn't want something big to emerge from the small issue we had. And I had a dream. That dream was to be a top achiever. Ever since I had Bame Sekedi and Tolofelo Sebetsa's testimony, my aim was top achiever. It didn't matter how I was going to do it, how exhausted I was. What mattered is that I was going to do something that was going to make me proud later on. I wanted to make a chemical reaction happen in my school. I was actually, my talents, I discovered my talents. I was into graphic novel design whereby this, just like Emmanuel Makura, he was an author. So the graphic novel design would open doors for me that in the future, if I ever wanted to become an author, if I ever wanted to draw something, I can actually do it with liberty, and I discovered a love for art. One of the messages that drove me to becoming what I am today is the very first time I came to the PPS meeting was in standard 7. That is why you can, and the PPS meeting, it started in September and I was writing in October. If I did not tell myself I was going to be as disciplined as the prophet from January, where would I be right now? Because most people, they just depend on the meetings and then they say, okay, let me start now. And it was in September, I'm writing October, where would I be right now? He said, and I quote, "The only thing I need from you is to sacrifice your time. These other things, leave them behind. You'll see them way later. You don't need these things right now. Just sacrifice your time." And sacrifice my time was what I did. I worked until I dropped. I sacrificed. I was so exhausted at the end of the year that I don't know how to explain it. I love social media. So graduation came. I was the MC along with another boy. My mother was there. She can testify. I did my best. The teachers trusted me to a point whereby they would actually just sit down and just watch everything play out. And because I already had the confidence, I was like, let me be a representative of 3G Ministries. The same confidence they show at church, let me show it here. Because I was committed to show people that 3G Ministries is not just a church, but a family that helped me grow up and raised me to being who I am today. Indeed, a good house has a good foundation. So I had made a wish when I was young that, God, let me have an award. Let me have a trophy. Let me have something. Let me do something that will make me proud. So when I didn't expect this, but during my graduation, there were awards for the Leaving Standard 7s, and there was also an award that nobody knew, which was the best overall student. During the time when they were announcing this, people were calling my competitors' names, others calling my name, and I'm in my heart, I'm praying, I'm sweating, I'm like, God, please, I can't work this hard only to go back home with nothing. And when the name was announced, I was the best overall student. And this was an easy end, because the competitors I had, they had the same grades as me. They were getting A stars. So like I said, I was very intimidated. But because I had a support and I also had God with me, that's eventually how I got the medal. And at the end of the year, I was also the top achiever.
Now take us through, in the PSLE, what did you get?
For my PSLE, because of the hard work I put in, I had gotten straight A's. When I went for my Form 1, my parents didn't have money, and I was schooling in a private school, the best in the region. So when I went to Form 1, they took me to a community JSS, whereby it was the lowest in the region. Imagine moving from the top to the lowest. But I didn't know that God was putting me there so that I can be a role model for others around me. The amount of ill discipline that was there and the amount of ill character that was there pushed me that the more bad they are, the good I will be. I'll show characteristics that are noteworthy. So I'd sacrifice my break and lunch, and I would read in class. So I was getting 63 points the first time I went there. People were surprised because it wasn't normal for someone to get 63 points. The highest you'd get is 59. That's the best, or that's what I'm aware of. So when I came there and I was getting 63 points, out of the 9 badges that we were getting, I got 7 out of 9. That was my maximum. 7 out of 9 badges, over 256 Form 1s, and I was the best, getting 7 out of 9. So when I would get these 63 points, people would ask me, how do you do it? But the answer is simple. You just read and you have discipline. They wouldn't believe me, but would they believe where I am right now? They wouldn't, because the way they lived their lives was different from mine. Something difficult, but something with beautiful fruits at the end. So now to the board. This was my maths. This was a 99%, and as you can see, the assessors 60 out of 60. The exam mark was 98%, and another 100%, giving me a 99%. Social studies 98%. RE, but that time it was religious and moral education 95. Agriculture 97, giving me an overall of a 95. This was my PSLE. As you can see, the overall grade was an A. Everything was straight A's. This was for the graphic novel. A certificate of completion. This is awarded to Tebogo for successfully completing the graphic novel design program. Last Wednesday, I was invited to Botswana Examinations Council, and I had gotten a message that I was among the top 10 in the whole country PSLE. Was this not my dream, people of God? This was me with the director of Botswana, me getting the medal that I saw other PPSs. I don't know what to say, honestly.
Today you are the one with the medal.
Today I'm the one with it.
Your hands together.
So after the government school, I went to an English medium school, and there I had gotten competitors, bigger competitors than I ever had until today. So they would also get 63 points like me. So I was confused. I didn't know what to do. and I had to learn 3 extra subjects. I had to learn French, I had to learn computer, I had to learn commerce and accounting. 3 extra subjects, and I was there for 18 days. We are writing, I came in today, after 18 days and another exam. How was I supposed to do this? Let me say God is good, people of God. So this was my report. This was before the meeting. Mathematics, 95% A star. There's no CAT because, like I said, I was only in the school for 18 days, as you can see here. Maths, 95%. English, 87. Swana, 95. Everything was an A star, A star, A star, A star. When you go to French, that time, French didn't do me well, guys. Sorry, people of God. So imagine getting A stars. When you go to French, you get a 66% C. This was my first time getting a C in my life. I was heartbroken. And I said, I can't give a testimony like this. I have to up this. I can't get a 66. And from this 66, I moved to 100% A star.
Come on, your hands can be better than that for Jesus.
So I was continuing to excel. Like in agriculture, I had gotten a 98 in my CAT, another 98 in 100 in science. If I didn't get 100%, I aimed to get a 99 or a 98. And this is evident on this report, making me get 63 points, which was higher than the one I had gotten before. This was the PSLE Top Achiever, the Excellence Awards. They would give you a certificate. What I got that day, on Wednesday, the last Wednesday, was I got a laptop, I got the medal, not a medal, I mean the trophy, the certificate, gift bags, and that event was it was monumental and significant in my life because not only ministers were there, but His Excellency was there, the Golden Star was there, other top achievers were there, people of high importance were there. So this is just a few of the things that I have. This is what you saw on this is the original. This was the graphic novel that I had designed along with other participants in the program. Last year, I continued on with being a whole-rounder student. I was involved in a sports trip at our school whereby I ran and got a silver medal for 200-meter event. Class of 2022, Tebogo. This is not a medal. I mean, this is not a trophy. These are tears, blood, and sweat of hard work.
Good morning, church. Good morning. The grace of God is sufficient for us all. I'm standing here as a very proud mother. I don't even know how and what to say because of what God has done. But before I could go into thanking for the testimony, first of all, I would like to thank God Almighty for having given us the grace to be standing here in this podium today with my daughter as a 2022 PSL Top 10 Achiever. People of God, I would also want to thank the man of God, Prophet Cedric, people of God, because if it wasn't for him, if it wasn't for his initiative of PPS, I don't know where would I be and my daughter, because all that you have heard from my child is all because of the product of PPS. And the teachings, the prayers, the ministration, the living water, these anointed stickers, that all are because of the prophet of God, Prophet Cedric. So I would like to say thank you, Prophet, for what my child is who she is today because of you.
Your hands together for Jesus Christ.
When you fall, it's not that you're a failure. Those who fall are not those who fail. Even myself, I had my own weaknesses. I had where I went wrong. But those who fall are not those who fail. It's only when you fall and fail to get up is whereby I can call you a failure. So whenever you face weakness, just remember your dream, because your dream is your driving force.
Indeed. Your hands together for Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Jesus.